Mr. President.
The senator from Michigan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yesterday, I announced the Rural Prosperity and Food Security Act put together by distinguished colleagues on the Agriculture Committee, including the presiding officer. And we thank you so much for all of your leadership on so many provisions here that both affect Georgia and our entire country. So thank you for that. This is a serious bill that reflects bipartisan priorities to keep farmers farming, to keep families fed, and to keep rural communities strong. I hope those are values and priorities that we all share together. The foundation of every successful farm bill is built on a broad bipartisan coalition. That's how we get it done. Mr. President, as you know, we get it done because we bring everybody together. We don't put forward things that lose votes. We put forward things that gain votes so that we can do what we did in the last five-year Farm Bill, 2018, where we had 87 members of the United States Senate come together, which was extraordinary at that time, because we built the coalition. We respected each other, and we did not look for policies that would divide. So it's important that farmers and ranchers, rural communities, foresters, nutrition and hunger advocates, conservationists, bioenergy advocates, local governments, and climate advocates come together. That's a broad coalition, and so many more, I could list on and on, that come together to be able to address a 5-year bill that addresses rural America, our economy, feeding Americans, being there when they need some help, protecting our land and water and air resources that are so important, and investing in a rural quality of life, like where I grew up in northern Michigan in Clare. The Rural Prosperity and Food Security Act is a bill that holds the coalition together. Now, it is a bill that I put together with my Democratic colleagues on the committee, but it includes 100, actually over 100, bipartisan bills. Over 100 bipartisan bills introduced this Congress through the hard work of Republicans and Democrats on the committee, as well as off the committee, and the input of a broad Farm Bill coalition. I would hope at this point I would be in a situation where we would be bringing forward a bipartisan bill, but we are not there yet. But it's my responsibility as the leader of the committee to put forward what I believe is the vision and the policies that can get us there. And that's what this is talking about. There are many things in here. I will not go through all of them, Mr. President. There are too many. But I will say this. We are strengthening the important farm safety net by making meaningful investments that focus our tax dollars, our American resources, on American farmers with dirt under their fingernails, not billionaire Wall Street or foreign investors, who, by the way, we ban from receiving commodity payments in this bill. This bill makes support for beginning farmers a priority. We need more people that want to go into farming, either starting from scratch or going home to the family farm. We need them. We need the people being willing to do the critical work, and they need to be a priority, and they are a priority in this Farm Bill. Our bill will provide farmers and ranchers with more choices that provide timely and flexible assistance that meets their needs. Lower cost crop insurance, a more effective commodity title, more opportunities for affordable credit to operate the farm as input costs go up. And the list goes on and on. We importantly permanently authorize the Agriculture Disaster Assistance Program, which unfortunately is having to be used more and more and more. And I want that to be clear, that that's a permanent part of agricultural policy. And this bill makes it a priority to help our farmers and ranchers address the emerging risks that we know they all face. We also ensure that farmers are planting to meet market demand, not to receive a government payment. We made major reforms in the 2014 bill to emphasize that, and then again in 2018, and it's important to keep it going. Farming has always been one of the riskiest ways to make a living. I've said it's the riskiest business around. Nobody else has to monitor the weather all day and night to figure out what's going on as to whether or not their business is going to be okay. And the climate crisis is making it even tougher. Think about the Michigan cherry farmer who loses an entire crop due to an early warming and then a cold snap, and this has happened in Michigan. Or the wheat farmer whose hard work is leveled when a violent summer storm pummels their fields with hail. Conservation programs are a vital part of our risk management for farmers today. I'm proud that they are voluntary, that they are popular, that they are used, that farmers think they make a difference, and it's important that we continue to invest and protect those dollars. This bill builds on our historic investment in those popular voluntary conservation programs by making the title, the conservation title, a permanent investment, a permanent part of the Farm Bill, permanent authorization, and we invest to make sure we are confronting the climate crisis today and in the future by taking the dollars that we have allocated for climate-smart agriculture, putting it into the Farm Bill, and supporting these important voluntary climate-smart efforts. This will put resources into farmers' pockets to continue the practices they are already doing and that they want to do more of on the farm and the ranches around the country. And while the Farm Bill is the backbone of the farm safety net, it's also the backbone of the family safety net through our nutrition title. And I want to thank our subcommittee chair, who's presiding now, who chairs our subcommittee on nutrition, for your leadership. Thank you very much. The Rural Prosperity and Food Security Act reflects our shared belief, Republicans and Democrats, that no American parent should have to worry about whether or not they will be able to feed their children. No American seniors should have to choose between buying food and paying for their medications. No American service member should experience hunger while serving their country. This bill will help millions of hardworking Americans make ends meet in a time when they really need it, a time of crisis, by continuing the 5-year update to the SNAP Thrifty Food Plan, included in the bipartisan 2018 Farm Bill, to ensure that SNAP reflects the realities of how Americans buy food and prepare food. It improves security measures and cracks down on bad actors to strengthen the integrity of nutrition assistance. The bill invests in SNAP employment and training to help people improve their job skills and excludes subsidized income earned through employment and training from counting as income for SNAP so that people will participate in these services and they can finish their training. In rural development, this is such an important part of the Farm Bill. This is about jobs. It's about quality of life. We have such an exciting bioeconomy today. In the Farm Bill a number of years ago, I put in a whole program called Make It Here, Grow It Here, where we focused on biomanufacturing as well as our biofuels and what we can do to add opportunities for farmers and income and jobs. And we build on that in this bill, whether it's biofuel, sustainable aviation fuel, biomanufacturing, lifting up bio-preferred labels so people know and can feel confident in looking for those labels, American labels. We lift this up. We also strengthen our efforts with farmers and ranchers on clean energy, both clean energy efforts to lower costs for citizens in rural America, to bring down their utility costs, but also to help our farmers through the Rural Energy Assistance Program, which we strengthen. And for the first time, we put not just authorizations, but actually mandatory Farm Bill resources, money into the Rural Development Title to lift up really important quality of life issues that determine whether or not people can actually stay and live in rural communities. For instance, childcare, access to mental health and addiction treatment facilities, rural housing, which is such a challenge. So many things we need to be doing to create opportunities. Now, I'm proud that we have already made rural communities a priority through high-speed internet in rural communities and what we did in the infrastructure bill. And we also have made wastewater treatment and other infrastructure issues in rural communities a part of what we have done in other areas. But we need to do more as it relates to the quality of life for families in rural communities. And the Farm Bill puts forward a vision to do that. The Rural Prosperity and Food Security Act is the product of a lot of work, and Senator Bozeman and I, my ranking member, started this process 2 years ago at my alma mater, Michigan State University, with our first field hearing to hear from all those impacted. And we have both, as well as other colleagues, traveled the country to hear ideas and to hear what is important to do. But we're beyond that now. It's time to get it done. It is time to get it done. Mr. President, have been around here long enough to have participated in 6 farm bills. It's the third one I've had the honor to lead. I know what it takes. I'm so honored and proud to have, I'm maybe biased, but I believe I have the smartest farm bill team there is, talented people who have put this together, but we know how to do it. We know how to do it. And I know that the only path forward is to hold together a broad, bipartisan farm bill coalition. When you break the coalition up, it never works. It never works. It fails time after time. In some ways, the discussion and the attacks right now on nutrition make me feel like it's Groundhog Day. We saw this in 2012 when the House could not pass a bill because of the fights on nutrition. We saw couldn't pass a bill. Voted down again because of a fight on nutrition. Breaking up the coalition, pitting the farmer safety net against the family safety net will not get us a farm bill. It just won't. I'm so grateful that in doing our past farm bills, we've been able to come together and understand it's about recognizing broadly the needs of farmers and food and jobs and all the other issues that are so important to our rural communities and, frankly, urban communities as well. And that's what I'm committed to do now, because that's the way we get a bill. Our farmers, our families, our rural communities deserve the certainty of a 5-year farm bill. There's no reason we can't do this. There's no reason that we can't do this. If we take the lessons of the past, if we creatively work together to meet the needs that we know need to be addressed as more and more volatility affects our farmers and ranchers across the country. We can do that. We can do that. And I'm committed to doing everything in my power, Mr. President, as chair of the Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry Committee to make that happen. Thank you. I yield the floor.